Hi guys, Sarah here from Highland Haven Australian Shepherds, and this is episode 24 of my dog breeding video series. So I don't have too much to report, guys. We're kind of in that in-between period where they're kind of boring. They're doing boring in the best sense of the word. Boring means uneventful, which means they're gaining weight and doing well, and there's not much to report. There is something very important I do want to share with you. My COVID haircut. What do you think? I did it myself. Anybody else cut their hair? All right, so I try to give you some dog content. So let's talk about colors in Australian Shepherds. So here are the pups. Of course, we know the four main colors of Australian Shepherds: the red merle, the red tri, the black tri, and the blue merle. So when you're breeding Australian Shepherds, you want to try to make sure that the percentage of color on the body and on the head and on the neck is correct. So you don't want too much white on the body. So you can see here, this blue merle, aside from her collar and her legs, her body has basically no white on it. And that is something that is in the standard and something that we do want to breed for. All of the puppies are pretty good at not having any white on their bodies. They almost all have white on their feet. He's got little booties. I love it. Some of them have full socks. That's all acceptable, but we don't want to see an excess of white on the body of the puppy. The other thing they want you to watch out for is not to have too much white on the face. And we'll look at Rosita here. She has a nice mask. Come here, baby. She has a nice mask, and her eyes have coloring over them. Okay, so you've got the nice red color over her eyes. Sometimes you'll see Aussies with like a complete white over an eye or white over both eyes. That's too much white on the face, and we want to try to avoid that. The easiest way to avoid that is to not breed two dogs together that have a very big white blaze on their face, that have a lot of white on their face. Meadow doesn't have too much white on her face. Ty does. Last litter, we did get one with white on one side of her face. She's still super cute, but that's something that would be considered a fault and something that we don't particularly want to breed for. So you wouldn't want to breed two dogs with a real huge white blaze on their face, otherwise you'll get mismarkings on the head of the pup. Let's talk about coloring in the tricolors. So he is a black tricolor, so that means he's black, he's got the brown, and he's got the white. Again, not too much white on his face. As he grows, this white will shrink. That's true of all the white on all of their faces. So if you have a pup that has a real wide white blaze on their face, when they're this age, generally they're going to turn out with a much narrower blaze as adults. Deacon is a good example of that. He had a real bald face, a very, very wide white stripe on his face, and now it's really quite narrow. Sometimes when you have a red tri or a black tri, it's hard to see if you have that third color on there. So you might think, well, gee, I only see black and white on this puppy. Maybe he's a black bi. Maybe he's just black and white. The brown doesn't come out till a little bit later, till they're a little bit older. It's come out pretty early on this pup, which makes me think that he's going to have a lot of really pretty copper points. But if he didn't, and you wanted to see if he was actually a tricolor instead of a bicolor, there's a secret. You turn him around, and you look under their bum. And what do we see? Brown. So we definitely know he is a tricolor. If he was a bicolor, this brown patch back here would be black. Ooh, don't fall, puppy. Would be black. In this case, it's not. So that's the best way to see that you have a tricolor as opposed to a bicolor. Let's see, his copper points. Okay, so let's look at Simon here and see what we can tell on him. So you can see the very faint red coming in here, the third color, so he is definitely a tricolor as well. He has a lot of brown on his body, which I actually kind of really like. So he's going to be quite a dark puppy, and he has this half collar, which Ty really throws a lot of these half collars. You know, if you were looking for a show dog, you'd want that full collar, that full white collar to go completely around. But in this particular bloodline, this half collar is very common in them. Let's see if we can find somebody with a full collar. Let's take a look at Miss Truly. So Truly has a full white collar. It goes all the way around. And that's something that is desired if you were going to show your dog. This beautiful, flashy, full white collar. See, she has a very bald face. This is what I mean by a bald face. It's very white, but she does have the coloration around her eyes, so she's fine. And this huge blaze here will narrow considerably as she ages. Look at that face. A lot of people want to know when their eyes are going to open. Probably not, what do they think, 9 days today? I wouldn't plan on their eyes opening, you know, before, say, day 13, day 14. So we have a few more days. When I looked at Rosita before, was it Rosita? Maybe it was this guy. I thought I saw a little peek of an eye opening. Let's take a look. Buddy. So you'll see when they start to open their eyes, you'll see just a tiny little slit, almost like they're just peeking at you. And eventually that slit gets wider and wider, and their eyes are open. Super cute. So let's take a look at little Mimi here. So she has this, oh, she's so hungry, oh my goodness. She said, I'll suck on your finger. So she has a nice wide stripe. Again, that's going to narrow as she ages. And you can see that her nose is pink, and it has some brown on it. That's true of almost all of these puppies. This coloration on the nose will preferably completely fill in. So most of them will not retain any pink on their nose. She is a blue merle, so we're looking for this coloration on her nose to be, you know, dark, black. If she is a brown dog, a red merle or red tri, that coloration on the nose will eventually turn completely liver brown. Their eyes will open sometime between now and day 14. Looks like she has long eyelashes. She's so pretty. They will all start with blue eyes, a puppy blue eye. And when everybody sees them, when they first start to open, everybody freaks out and says, oh my God, they all have blue eyes. Oh my God. And most of them will not keep that blue eye. It takes a little bit of experience to be able to identify the difference between a true blue eye and a puppy blue eye. So a puppy blue eye is almost like a cloudy blue. And as I say, they all have that when they start out. A dog that's going to keep their blue eyes has more of a crystal clear blue, and you learn to identify that the more experience you have with it. And of course, Australian Shepherds can have marble eyes. So they can have eyes that are brown and blue in the same eye, or brown, blue, and amber in the case of Ty, in one or both eyes. So that's always really striking when you see a marble eye in an Aussie. So that's it for this episode, guys. I will try to come up with some more content for you tomorrow. I might do a live stream. I'm going to see how I feel in the morning. I've been pretty lazy. I'm sure you guys feel the same. All right, so we'll talk to you tomorrow. If you're liking this series, please like, follow, comment, share, all that good stuff. Take care, guys. Bye.